Sunday night, March 6th, and we're going to recap how things went for us this day here on Sunday. And it's still a mixture of regular season games with postseason games. So we're going to keep this monster, this ugly, ugly monster here. I say it's ugly because throughout the duration of the season, we really didn't improve. We pretty much just went a straight up 50%, making picks from the computer versus the Vegas line. So that's what we do. We take the Vegas line here. I'll show you. We take the Vegas line, and so here's the Vegas line, and we do a computer generated score pick, and then we compare. So we say Houston's going to beat Memphis by more than the line. So Houston would be our play. Over here we say Rutgers is going to beat Penn State, but not cover, right? So we'll take the underdog, okay? And along the way, we have these money line opportunities that have been paying off pretty well for us. And we'll talk about all that as we go through and recap. So we've hit 174 money lines on the year. I'm going to do something here. I haven't updated this in a while. This just take me a second, because I think we had a little bit more than that. So yeah, so some nights we didn't have any, and some nights we only had a handful. Sometimes we had 19 of them one night. Yeah, 107. So although this is semi-disastrous, this is not too bad. So just the ability to find these money lines and point them out and play them, that could be significant. But let's get through these picks. So Houston is on the road at Memphis. Houston probably doesn't have much to fight for. They probably have their, everything locked up in the American Conference, the seeding that they need and everything. So I wouldn't imagine they're too worried about ending this regular season with a victory. And it showed. They lost 61-75. Memphis is a good team. Let's take nothing away from Memphis. They're a good team. But that would be a loss for the computer. So what we do here is we make the red to indicate a loss. And if we have tonight, I'll show you what a win looks like. Okay. In the Colonial League tournament, Towson is facing Northeastern. 12.5 is the line. We say 18. So Towson is our play. So did Towson win and cover? Towson won by 7, 68-61. So that is not it's a win, but not a cover. So we lose this bet. And next up is Rutgers hosting Penn State. The line's 5.5. We say, no way. That's too many points. We're taking Penn State to cover, the backside cover here. And final score was Rutgers 59-58. So that's exactly how it played out. So that's a win. So we get a win here playing the dog. And we like using gold or a variation of gold to annotate there. So Longwood, wow, kind of a surprise, but I've been watching Longwood all year. This is the Big South Championship game of their tournament. And it came down between Longwood and Winthrop. And 1.5 was the line. We said Longwood would win by 3. We're talking about the Longwood Lancers that's never been to the postseason or to the big dance. And let's see if they punched their ticket, and they did. 79-58 was the final there. So Longwood is going to represent the Big South Conference in the big dance. And that's pretty exciting. It's pretty cool for them. And it's a win for us. Ohio State hosting Michigan, 4.5 is the line. We say it's going to be a win game, so we're taking Michigan here. And final score here was Michigan won the game, 75-69. So that's another win for the computer. And I'd like to update the strings here. So on this string, we go 3 and 2. You see the, damn it, I hate when I do this. I really hate it. It drives me mad. We had 3 wins and 2 losses. That's all we're saying here. Patriot League. This would be a semifinal contest in the Patriot League. It's Colgate hosting Lehigh because they play at the higher seeds home court. And how did this one file out? We have Colgate winning and covering a 13.5 point line, but just barely, just by 0.5 point. but we still got to play them. Final score is Colgate won by 20, 81-61. So that's a win and a cover. So that's a good play. And Colgate moves on to play Navy next. Loyola of Chicago. Facing Drake. This is the Missouri Valley Championship game. And I'm sorry to see it go because they got one of the great names. The tournament was held in St. Louis, and they called it Arch Madness, which I think is great. Loyola of Chicago land 5.5. We say 9 points is the margin here, and they won 64-58. That's a 6-point win, so that is a cover. Come on, update. Yeah, get the official word. So that's a cover. And we like those. So Wisconsin hosting Nebraska in the final game of the regular year for both teams. And the line is Wisconsin by 11.5, but Nebraska in the last three games has gone into Penn State and beat them by a ton. And they went into Columbus and beat Ohio State at their home, and now they're playing Wisconsin on the road. So you know, a trend here. Yeah, Nebraska wins again. Pretty interesting. 73-74, which is like a last-ditch effort for some kind of at-large bid into the tournament or something. I think Nebraska really, actually, on the strength of the way they finished, may get an invite to, you know, one of the other tournaments. Why did that happen? It's a loss. We lost this game. Yeah. Vermont in the American East tournament, hosting NJIT because it's a higher seed host tournament. Now, this is a ton of points, 23.5. But Vermont's really a great team. And NJIT is not. And so we're not afraid of that point spread. We say 26. So how did this one end? So Vermont won 98-59. In mind, we haven't been doing something. I got to do something here. We got to back up just a little bit. So that's a win. Big time cover for Vermont. And what I've been forgetting to do is on these conferences, we have to throw the loser. The loser has to get thrown into a bubbling hot volcano. So Northeastern, their season is over, just, you know, barring a invite to another tournament. And there's a bunch of tournaments. And we'll light them back up if they get an invite, but we turn the lights out on them. They're done. So our number 251 rated team, Northeastern, and the lower the number, the better the team. And we're going to reset these tonight when we're done. They're done. Their season's done unless they get an invite to another tournament. But if they don't, they're done. It's over. So that's happened. Now Winthrop, they need to be thrown into the volcano. So let's go find Winthrop. And I'm going to say Winthrop is number 212. Winthrop. Number 184. So, so that is Winthrop. Season's over unless they get invited. And they're going to go for a little dip in the pool. The Lake of Fire. Okay, Lehigh, we need to bid you an adieu. Lehigh number 300. I'm going to go 312 for Lehigh. 291. But their season's over for all intents and purposes. Let's just say their quest for the national championship has come to an end. And the same thing can be said about Drake. Now, Drake will get an invite somewhere because they're really a good team. They really are. But for now, we'll light it back up again. Yeah, they're number 88. That's a very good team. And so they'll get an invite somewhere. And, you know, unless they reject it, they turn it down. But for now, their quest for the national championship has come to an end. And so has NJIT's bid. Now they're 330. NJIT is number 318. It's just 333. I already threw him in the volcano. Okay. Got a couple regular season games here. American Conference, Temple hosting South Florida, 7.5 line. We say they win by 10. And final score here, Temple wins 75-47. And so that's a win and a cover. And I guess when you're down and out and you're on the road, the only thing you can do is you could play hard and suck it up and have some pride, or you can go to Temple and lay 47 points. And that's what Temple decided to do. UCF at Tulsa, laying half a point. We say UCF by 7. And I happen to know, maybe you saw this, but a half-court shot won the game for Tulsa wins 73-72. And so that's a loss for the computer. That was a hell of a shot. You got to hand it to the kid. All right, someone's going for a trip into the volcano. Drexel. So Delaware is favored by 1.5. We say Drexel wins the game. So anytime you see it shaded in green, that's a money line. We're betting the underdog to win the game. We're on the other side of the line. This is a Colonial League tournament game. Winner go home. Who's going home? Delaware wins 66-56. So Drexel's going home, and Delaware moves on. So let's go throw Drexel off the mountaintop into the volcano. Bye-bye. There you go, Drexel. It doesn't, I don't know why, but when you look for them and it highlights them, the color thing does. Folks, if you ever go, yeah, I'm going to try out this Google text, please, I beg of you, don't do it. It's just nothing but frustration. It's really a horrible program. But I use it because I can share it. And it does work, but it's nothing compared to Excel. It doesn't hold a candle to it. SMU hosting Tulane, 9.5 line. We say 6. We're playing the dog here. We say Tulane does a backside cover, and Tulane loses 74-68. Look at that compared to the predicted score. I'm 1 off here and 1 off there. And so that is a 6-point victory. They failed to cover, so that's a win for the computer. By 6, just as we suggested. Okay, Patriot League semifinal, Navy hosting Boston U, laying 2.5. We say only by 2. We give ourselves no room at all. Kind of a silly play there, computer, but the computer does it. So Navy wins 85-80. And they cover, and that's a loss. So Boston U is now eliminated. Now, I'm going to say they're number 113. BOSTONU. 205. All right. Okay, so that's done. Chattanooga and Wofford playing in the SoCon, which is the Southern Conference tournament. They like to call themselves the SoCon. The line's 1.5. We say Chattanooga wins by 4. So let's see how this one played out. And Chattanooga won 79-56. So that's a win and a cover. And so we go 2 and 3 on this string. 2 and 3. Brings our total to 9 and 6. Yeah, 9 and 6. So we're right at 60% on our plays. If that lasted, I'd be shocked. Michigan State hosting Maryland, 5.5 the line. We say a 5-point victory for Michigan State. So we're taking Maryland and we're dancing on a half point here. And Michigan State wins by 10, 77-67. So that was the bad play. It's the red box, and we take the loss. All right, UNC Wilmington facing Elon in the Colonial Tournament, 3.5 the line. We say Wilmington by 8. Now, what you got to know is Elon has been really playing well. had a terrible year, but they're ending the year on an up note until tonight. So 75-58 Wilmington. And the rest of the teams still playing in this tournament, a collective sigh of relief because Elon was getting pretty scary there. They were beating teams that they had previously been getting drilled by. So like the light went on for them, but it went out tonight. So let's go throw Elon into this burning hot volcano. And we're not talking about the other Elon. We're talking about the university, which I believe in Elon, North Carolina. I could be wrong about that. Okay, there we go, number 250. There's 358 Division I college basketball teams, in case you were curious. Okay, another shaded in green. We have Troy versus Louisiana. And Vegas says Louisiana is going to lay a 1.5. We say Troy wins the game. It's a money line play. And let's see what happened here. And Louisiana wins 66-57. So no money line. And Louisiana covers that 1.5. So that's a loss. It's just a loss all the way around. We lose the money line and we lose the conventional. So this game's kind of nerve-wracking. Furman and Samford, 8.5 is the line. Samford is really a good team. This is back in the Southern Conference tournament. Furman has been really good all year, but Samford has been playing really well as of late. I detailed it in the prediction show. You know, it's you want to see. I do a little broadcast showing the predictions before the tip, so I'm on record as what the predictions are. So I can't change anything. Is why I do that. Like a game's not going the way I want, I sneak back in there and change. No, that doesn't happen. I want to see how well the computer does. Okay, Furman 8.5 over Samford. We agree, and Furman wins by 3, 71-68. So that's a loss. So let's go throw Samford into the volcano. And they're number 209. We'll take a look at these. We'll recap all these teams that we're turning the lights off of, because it's all the darkened out teams are now at the bottom here. And as you go north, there's not as many darkened out teams. So these are our Murray State and Loyola of Chicago have punched their ticket. So you can see this is something we're doing for fun. This is why Scores Are really exists, for the ratings and the rankings. And so that's really important to me. This is important to me too, but it's not playing well. So we're not good at making these predictions. We're just not. But I do think that the ratings and the rankings are significant and important. South Dakota and Kansas City. Vegas says it's a pick 'em. We say South Dakota wins by 1, but I happen to think, I always felt like South Dakota was a good team. They just kind of live in the shadow of South Dakota State, who is a very good team. So South Dakota wins 74-61, and that's a win. That's a win. We go 2 and 3 on string. And we're just going to see where we're at. Let's go. Okay, this is where we are tonight. 11 and 9, 55%. No money lines tonight so far. Well, I hope that changes. Okay, well, we only have 5 games left here, but the one is a money line. So Iowa at Illinois, they're getting 3.5. We say Iowa wins the game. It's a money line for us. Iowa just has better numbers than Illinois. Many people would disagree with that, but I'm telling you, Iowa's got they've got fantastic numbers. And Illinois wins 74-72. But remember, we're getting 3.5 here. So they fail to cover. So this actually is a win. We lose the money line, but we win the conventional bet. Okay? Everyone see that? I'm getting 3.5. They only won by 2, so they didn't cover. So Iowa's good play there, but not a money line play. There's conventional. Northwestern hosting Minnesota, 7.5 the line. We say it's a 4-point win for Northwestern, and Northwestern wins by 13, 75-62. And that's a loss. Okay, Hofstra and Charleston in the Colonial League tournament. Hofstra laying 2.5. We agree. We say Hofstra wins by 3 and covers that 2.5. And how did this end? So Charleston wins 92-76. So blows the prediction and the dum-dums in Vegas away. That's a loss for us. And I thought for sure Hofstra would win that game. Georgia State hosting. No, I'm sorry. The Sun Belt is a one venue tournament, so this game is all played at one place. I think it's Pensacola, Florida. But Georgia State is giving 3.5 to App State. We say App State wins the game, so that's our play. And final score here is Georgia State wins 71-66. So, well, we got that number right, but and it exceeds the 3.5, which is a complete loss. We lose everything here. Lose the money line, lose the conventional play. Oral Roberts faces off with Western Illinois, laying 3.5. We think it's going to be more than 3.5. We say 7. And final score is 80-68, Oral Roberts. So we end the night with a win. And we didn't do so great there towards the end. We go 2-3. So that makes it 13 wins and 12 losses. So right at 50%, just like we've done all year. So 13-12, 52%. And we just maintain that 50% margin. This is the thing that I want to think that we're better at doing the postseason tournaments because they're neutral courts, and we're not doing anything to mitigate the home court advantage. And this shows. I mean, it shows why or how it affects us. But we thought, we do the postseason, we should get better here because you eliminate the teams that are serious about winning. Let me see if I can find. These teams that show up and put up 39 points and get killed by 30, even though they might be the better team, they're not there to win. So, and this happens all the time in college basketball. I don't say any tonight, but betcha if I go over here. So that's I'm working on tomorrow's games here. But you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, a good team is on the road. Maybe it's their second game of a road trip, and they're tired, and they go into another team's home court with fresh legs, and they lay an egg. It happens all the time. Even the best teams in this league, that it happens to. But we eliminate that in the postseason because it's win or go home. And neutral court, or let's say like here in the Patriot League, the better team is typically going to be the home team, so that works in our favor. But so far, we're 20-22 doing this on the postseason games, and I'll update these after the broadcast. So I'll have them for you next time. Tonight's games, I didn't separate them out. It just takes a little bit of time. So so that's how Sunday went, and as I kind of mentioned, I'm working on Monday's contest, and I think there's going to be a couple more games on a really late night tomorrow. I think the tournaments really ramp up on Wednesday next week. I know the Big Ten tournament starts on Wednesday. SEC, Pac-12. I'm not sure when they're going to start, but it has to start soon. So we're going to have some really meaningful games coming up. But so far right now, Monday is very light, only 7 games. So I've got the predictions done. Most of them, I'm just waiting on the lines to come in from Vegas. This one came in. I got Cleveland State beating Wright State, even though Wright State is favored in the Horizon League. So that's a money line. We already found one, but no line. We're taking the dog here with half a point. And, so we'll talk about that. I'll do a broadcast when I get them all complete, and I'll go over every game. So tonight's Sunday night, and the thing I do on Sunday night is I reset the rankings. And doesn't look like there's going to be a ton of juggling. So just remember, the lower the number, the better the team. And so the lowest number in the land right now is Gonzaga, with UCLA and Arizona tied for number 2. But there'll be some jostling going about here. So Villanova is going to jump over 2 teams, it looks like. So here's how we do it. We're going to highlight all the teams, go all the way down to number 358, which is always IUPUI. I can't imagine there's a worse team than IUPUI in Division I men's college basketball. Come on, go. You're only halfway there. Let's move it. And here are all the teams that we've eliminated. We've darkened them out. Good God. What was that all about? Yeah, IUPUI. Not good. And I like to move it up here so we can see the top and jostle. Now, this happens very quickly, so you have to pay attention. So we're going to set the stage for the sort to begin. And as soon as I hit this button, it's just going to flash and everything will be updated. So here it comes. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. So you saw a little bit of the teams moving around. So let's go over these. And what I like to do is bring in a special guest host, Ken Pomeroy. We're gonna look at Ken Pomeroy. He's not really here. I would be honored if Ken Pomeroy joined us, but he is. I think he lives in Utah, and he's at home, busily putting numbers and data and stroking his simulated goatee, because I don't think he actually has one, and pondering, how accurate is it? So let's compare Scorzar versus Ken Pomeroy. Okay. So what I'm going to do is you're going to stay on Ken Pomeroy's site, and I'm going to read Scorzar's. Okay. So you can get the gist of how closely we're lining up to Pomeroy. And let me just double check, make sure. Yeah. Okay. So first, number 1 in the nation, we have Gonzaga. Number 2 is a tie between Arizona and UCLA. So I happen to know that's the 2 teams, and he's got UCLA number 8. Okay, Houston is our number 14, and he's got Houston number 5. He moved Houston up from previously. We have Baylor number 5. Where does he have Baylor? Number 4. Okay, so those 2 flip. Kentucky, our number 6. I think he's got Kentucky number 3. Yeah, so we're not that far off. And then number 7 is Kansas, followed by Texas Tech. He's got Kansas 9. Where does he have? And Texas Tech 11. So we're pretty close when you consider there's 358 teams. We have Villanova at number 9, followed by Auburn at 10. So he's got Villanova at 10 and Auburn at 7. So we're right there pretty much. These games would be decided by, just fractions of a point. Purdue, 11, Tennessee, 12. He's got Purdue 13 and Tennessee 12. And so we got those 2 flipped. Duke is our number 13 team, and I know he's got Duke a little higher, with USC being our 14th team. And I know he doesn't think USC is very good, but he's got Duke number 6. And where does he have USC? Off the charts here. Yeah, number 40? What? USC's or no? Come on. That is not right. I'm sorry. I'm calling him out on this. Okay, we have LSU number 15, And I wish I hadn't had him rated so high, but I can't. He's got him 17. I just don't think LSU is as good as their numbers. And their numbers are great, but they keep losing. Can't stop them from losing. And so I'd like to kick them to the curb and get them out of the top 25 because I really don't know that they deserve to be in the top 25. But then they beat Alabama. So, okay, we got Texas 16, Iowa 17. He's got Texas 15. And where does he have Iowa? Where is Iowa? Let's go look for Iowa. 14. It was right there. So Texas and Iowa. So we're 14 and 15. We have Texas. We have them 16 and 17. Now I have Iowa rated better than Illinois. Let's see if he agrees. Where's Illinois? There's Iowa at 14. Yeah, he agrees. He also has Iowa rated higher than Illinois. Now these two teams played tonight. It was a 2-point game. It was at Illinois. And in the micro, you might suggest that that would leave Illinois above, but there's 30 plus games. They've played 30 plus games. 1 2-point game does not leap anybody over anything. I mean, it's just the overwhelming data suggests that if this game was played at a neutral site, Iowa would actually beat Illinois. Okay, we have UConn number 19, Arkansas number 20. He's got Arkansas number 9 and UConn number 20. How interesting. We keep running into these little flip situations. We have Alabama 21, St. Mary's 22. He's got Alabama 22, and where's St. Mary's? Okay, he's got them higher. He's got them up at number 16. I'm just using Pomeroy because he's kind of the gold standard and just kind of comparing how scores looks in comparison. Loyola of Chicago, 23. San Diego State, number 24 on scores are. Loyola, Chicago, 24. San Diego. Wow, that is uncanny. It just keeps happening. Now, here we're going to part ways because in no way is Murray State number 25. Now, I'll tell you where I have Murray State. I have to go find them. They're buried deep, and I'll explain why. Yeah, I have them number 50. So we're going to switch back here to scores are, and we're going to go into the Ohio Valley, and I'm going to call absolute BS. Now they did win their tournament, but let's look at some of these scores. So they won against Morehead State by 4. There was some breathing room here with Southeast Missouri State, but we're talking about Southeast Missouri State, who they just beat by 2. By 2. They beat UT Martin by 2. Let's go look at UT Martin. Here they are down here. They're 6 and 22. You're telling me a top 25 team is going to struggle to beat UT Martin? I mean, this is why I'm not buying it. Okay, they hammered Austin Peay. Morehead State's a good team. That's not a good team, folks. They won by 9. They won by 20 here. Okay, you would expect that, right? I'm just saying I'm not ready to embrace Murray State as this great team. They play these bad teams and struggle against them. So, I'm not buying that they're a top 25 team. My numbers suggest that they're not even close to that. But, that's sports writers, and then it's fanned by this, which I just don't believe is remotely close. Yeah, 30 and 2. See, I think that's what's dragging their numbers up. I don't go by the records. I go by, let's talk about this real quick, because this is what scores are goes by. Let me get over here. I'm confusing myself. What the hell is going on? Okay, Ohio Valley. I go by this. So here's how we do this. And, okay. Murray State has scored more points than they allowed. What we do, how we start everything, is we divide points allowed by points for, okay? And if you scored more points than you allow, this box right here is what I call the D/show. That's defense divided by offense. If you score more than you allow, this number will be below 1.0, okay? So I'm going to take SIU Edwardsville rating. I'm going to slide it in there every time they play. In fact, you can probably see it. if I go up just a tiny bit more. So here's SIU Edwardsville, 13.5. And down here, that's their rating, 13.5. Okay. We add them all up and divide by the number of games played to get an average of what their strength of schedule was. Okay. We then multiply this number, that number. Now, Murray State has met and exceeded the level of competition. And so this number is lower than that number. Okay. And that's their rating. So it's how many did you score? How many did you allow? And who did you play? Okay. That's how every one of these profiles, that's how we do it. Conversely, SIU Edwardsville, they've allowed more points than they scored. This is above 1.0. Here is their strength of schedule. We multiply this by that, and you get a higher number than this. Okay. You have failed to meet and exceed the level of competition. And this tells us by how much. So that's how ScoreStar does it. It matters not. And I don't know how I'm missing three wins here for Murray State. I think I don't count the community colleges that they play. Before the tournament starts, I will audit all these teams, but I don't know. He's got them 30-2. I got them 27-2. So it could be just a matter of these junior colleges or Division II schools that they play. So that's how we do it. The record doesn't matter, but the performance does. It's all based on performance. Let's go back to KenPom. And again, I'm not disrespecting Pomeroy. I think he's amazing. Like I said, Pomeroy's kind of the gold standard. And I just want to compare how the ScoreStar system looks in comparison to the gold standard. Okay, so we left off at San Diego State. So we have Seton Hall 25, San Francisco 26. And he's got, let's go find him. Seton Hall 35. And San Francisco 21. Now, that's probably appropriate. I'm telling you, it's a good team, folks. It's a really good team. 21 seems a little high when you look at the company that they're keeping. So I think Boise State's a better team than San Francisco. I know Virginia Tech is a much better team than and so is Wisconsin. And maybe Colorado, and I know Wake Forest is. And Seton Hall deserves to be higher. But look at Providence at 36. Wow. Now I'm starting to kind of wonder about what I'm seeing here. So I've got Oklahoma State at 27. We've probably got them rated deep because I think I have them misslotted at 38. I got them 27. He's got them 38. We'll just do a handful more here. Vodtech at 28, and he's got them deep. Okay, I said 28. He's got them 29. We'll go up to 35 or so. Xavier, I have it number 29. They've been kind of playing less than spectacular lately. And I wouldn't blame him if he's got Xavier a little bit lower. He's got him 51. That's not a little bit. That's a lot lower. Wow, 51 for Xavier. So I think he takes into consideration the record. But, man, when you're playing in the Big East versus playing in the Ohio Valley, it's not a fair way to do it. So we've got Ohio State number 30, and where does he have Ohio State? I don't know for a fact it's in the record in consideration. So we say 30. He's got him 26, and a couple more here. Wisconsin number 31. And he's got him number 30, so that's pretty close. I think I have Washington State, who I can't get rid of at 32. And Washington State is not the 32nd. They are not the 32nd best team. That's probably more appropriate. I'll concede this one for sure. He's probably more accurate than I am on that. So Providence 33, Michigan 34, and he's Michigan. There's so many Michigans. He's got him 31. We have Oklahoma 35, Boise State 36. and he's got Boise 27. I think he's probably closer on that than I am too. In Oklahoma at 37, I think that's where I got him too. I got him at 35. So I don't know his formula. I just kind of outlined mine. I don't know, how it all works. If win-loss is a factor, I really have a problem with that because, all right, one last thing. I'm just going to go through this very quickly, but there's two ways of skinning a cat, okay? So here's Gonzaga at 24-3, okay? Let's go in and let's go look at their schedule because they played a very easy schedule. But so what can you do to compensate for a very high strength of schedule? In other words, in a bad way. If I was to go into any Big 12 team, 11.58, let's go look at, they're in the tens. Okay. They're in the tens. It's a much different league. It's the Big 12 is fantastic. Every team is playing in the 10. And so here's Gonzaga with a very easy schedule. But look how they compensate for it. Look at the disparity between how many they scored and how many they allowed. Okay, two different ways of skinning a cat. Okay, you can have losses, and okay, BYU. I don't think they're very good, and they're eliminated. But they had 10 losses, but they're beating Loyola Marymount by 25, and they're not too terribly bad. They're kind of mediocre, maybe a little less mediocre. So BYU is technically a good team. They've scored more than they've allowed, so that's under 1.0, but they're 20-10. They have 10 losses. So when Gonzaga plays, they absolutely beat the hell out of their opponents because that's their way of skinning the cat. These numbers, that's a 42-point difference. And Bellarmine is about to play in the Atlantic Sun championship game. Okay, 42 points. 107-50. So this is how Gonzaga has to do it. Okay, they beat UCLA by 20, lost to Duke. They did play some good teams. They did play Alabama, but the overwhelming majority, and they played Texas Tech. But the overwhelming majority are these directional schools and schools that aren't serious about winning. There's no, headline coaches or players at Pacific, for example, or at Portland. There's an up and comer here at San Francisco you should keep your eye on, but they have to do this. They have to win by, what is that, 600 more points than they've allowed in 27 games? It's pretty impressive, So that's how Gonzaga does it. Now, they're 24-3, and if that's how, let me give you a great example. I know I'm making this too long, but I have West Virginia rated really high. Look at their record; they're 15-16. But go look at who they played. Every team in the Big 12 is really good. Okay, lost to Kansas, lost to Baylor, lost to Texas Tech. Heard of these guys? Lost to Oklahoma, lost to Arkansas. So they have a break from the Big 12, and they do this SEC versus Big 12 thing about midway through the conference schedule. And did they get South Carolina or Ole Miss or so unbeatable? No, they get Arkansas, the number 20 team. That's just how it went for West Virginia today or this year. So it's just a string of losses, but that's an excellent number. And if I was to go find them on the rankings page, they're 15-16. You think that they'd be garbage. Well, let's see where West Virginia shows up. Number 55. There's 358 teams. So look at, I got them with VCU and St. Louis are crying out loud. Those are exceptionally good teams, right? So it's how many did you score, how many did you allow, and who did you play? Wins and losses do not affect the scores already. Okay, so that's a little too long of a stream, but I thought there were some important points to make there. So I'm going to go ahead and end it, And am I sharing this? What are we looking at here? We're probably still looking at Pomeroy. That totally, uh, totally effed up my whole stream there. I apologize. That was bad. Doggone it. Because I made some great points and you couldn't see them. All right, I'm gonna stop the embarrassment. Tune in tomorrow, folks, for more misguided advice and bad picks, and we'll see you then.